Everything is fine here on Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Dustin and Dash Rendar, as Dustin's groping his background at the moment.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a
the problem with
perfectly
background is
oriented picture, or not so perfectly oriented picture for you right now.
the problem with backgrounds is it just so happens that his crotch is right near my face. But you know what?
You might
I
be
might
double
let Dash
teaming him with
Rendar.
that
I
droid
might let
behind
Dash
him.
Rendar violate me in the Star Wars universe. You know,
How long until he comes to, either the animated or live action? That'd be sweet to see him
I
brought
mean,
to canon,
surprised he hasn't. Yeah, I mean that would be kind of an easy cash cow for Disney.
right? They don't like to go the easy way, apparently. They're
They
making everything difficult.
it's it's because you have these people that really aren't fans that think they know what they're doing.
Did you know what I heard yesterday? I thought it was super fascinating. I was watching some YouTube videos, and
Yeah, on the YouTubes, eh?
on the YouTube, where all the facts come out, um, they were talking about the actual true profit earnings of Disney with the Star Wars movies, not like merchandise and everything, but just the Star Wars movies. And when you hear about how much money like a movie makes, they're always talking about like revenue, right? What total money they're bringing in.
Yeah, but
But
that's not profit.
they're not talking about profit. And that is so important. And what I learned is they're far ways away from making a profit from purchasing Star Wars, the rights for Star Wars. So right now their profits on the movies are $1.2 billion, and it's still three times they have to earn like three times that amount to offset the amount that they spent for the rights. So
Of course,
there's
now that does
2.8 billion left to go.
now that doesn't include, of course, the merchandise, the
Right.
rights fees, um the shows and what they're making off, the advertisements from the shows or the subscription. So I mean, I don't know how accurate that is. When you're talking about such large sums of money, billions of dollars, I think it's pretty hard to like really get a true sense of the full
Well,
picture.
and with the shows, it's hard to judge that because I mean it's just essentially people who are signing up and paying for the subscription, but there's other means that they could. I mean, there's Marvel, there's Hulu, because you can get Hulu and Disney Plus. There's regular Disney movies. So how do you judge what someone's coming to Disney Plus for? The merchandise you can get a little bit more of a accurate number, but still there's some complications to that. But I mean, one point like that's nowhere near the amount from like the original trilogy and the prequels. I mean, they invested a lot of money into making these movies. And do you know what is also ridiculous? The the tax breaks that they can get and essentially be reimbursed. Like millions of dollars they can get reimbursements from the states and the government for these projects. It's absolutely incredible, which is why they did the recordings or they did the filming in England, because there's a lot more money that they can get reimbursed. So it's the people of England paying taxes that's going towards American Star Wars films, which is
Wait,
crazy.
hold on. Am I to understand that rich people are finding ways to find tax loopholes?
Weird. Crazy how that works.
Yeah.
And I
Shock.
mean,
This is my shock face.
hey, I mean,
That's a tale as old as time.
yeah, well, and they're not necessarily finding the loopholes. They know who to find the loopholes for them. So that always helps. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And we don't know many people.
Yeah, I wish we did.
That's why our faces are in Dash Rendar's crotch, earning our
Well, my
wages,
face is in Dash Render's crotch.
being double teamed with a droid behind Dash Rendar as well.
I
So
mean, if he had a long peen, I mean, it could be just resting on my head right now.
the Shanko. Anyways, we're here to talk Bad Batch season 3. So we'll be talking about both episode 12 Juggernaut and episode 13 Into the Breach. We weren't able to jump on last week, so we have 2 episodes for everyone today. So just going to throw the spoiler tags out there. We will be talking about both episodes. If you have not watched them, go watch them. Put us on pause, watch them, and then come back and listen to us. So you have been warned.
Yeah. And we should probably do it pretty quickly because it's getting late and we both have young children, so sleep is at a premium.
I haven't had much of that lately, especially with the promo where I have to work overnights for. So I'm exhausted and have pink eye, so it's a struggle right now. Bear with me. So let's talk about episode 12 first, Juggernaut. So with this kind of picks up where
Kind of felt like a filler episode to me.
What's that?
Bit of a filler episode.
A little bit. Yeah, because it's kind of a side mission, but not really a side mission because it's still relevant to the story. But essentially, they need an instrument to allow them or find their way to Tantus. So they have to go get someone who might have that intel. So we start the episode on Tantus, and it picks up after 11 left off, where we know Omega got, she turned herself into the Empire to kind of free the citizens of Pabu from the Empire. So they're bringing her into Tantus, and it's her. They're bringing her to Emery. Hemlock is asking her to take Omega's blood again just to verify. And you can tell Omega's kind of pulling at Emery's heartstrings and like, do the right thing. Like, you don't have to do this. But Emery's like, yes, I do. And they test the blood, and sure enough, it's still a match. So no surprise there. We already knew that. I think the question is more, what's Emery going to do? Is she going to follow suit still, or is she going to give in? I think she's going to help in the long run. In the last 3 episodes, I think she's going to do something to help Omega.
I mean, without question.
Yeah.
First of all, it's Disney, so they have to, have that little redemption arc for her. Second of all, I mean, they're not being super subtle with, showing what they're trying to do. So
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if she wasn't a part of the solution for.
Yeah. And I don't know if the solution is going to succeed, because obviously we don't know much about these characters after this show, but I think she's going to at least try one way or another. So from there, we then hop onto Pabu, where we see Hunter and Batcher. Their ship has been destroyed now, and they kind of meet up with with Wrecker and Crosshair, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do now? We don't have a ship. We don't have coordinates to Tantus because Crosshair wasn't able to hit the ship with the tracker, and then the Empire found the tracker on Omega. So Crosshair brings up an idea about, he doesn't know how to find the coordinates, but there is someone who might know the coordinates to Tantus, and they need to go find this individual.
So it's a fetch quest.
Yeah, it's a fetch quest for sure.
But and then it turns out to be a fetch quest for a fetch quest.
Well, true. A fetch quest for a fetch quest. That's absolutely correct. Because the second part of the fetch quest was today's episode, pretty much. Oh, you were gonna say something?
No, because I realized that
Fetch
I
Inception.
thought they were gonna. What's that?
Fetch Inception.
Fetch quest Inception.
Yeah, fetch quest Inception. That's hard to say. Fetch quest Inception.
It's dude, like when you're playing a video game, you're going through the main story, and then they just keep on sending you on these bullshit missions that you're just like, I don't want to do these anymore. It's kind of what these last two episodes felt like a little bit.
Yeah. They're building up to, I bet the last couple episodes are going to be amazing. So we have 3 left, obviously, and the
I,
last
I
2 will be
mean,
released on the same day. And I think we're going to be buckling up for the end of the ride here.
my problem is there's not a ton of tension. Like, I don't ever believe that our heroes are in any danger, you know? So, I know it's an animated series, but
I think we might feel that soon.
sure, I'm just saying in these last
At
two
least
episodes,
the last 2 episodes.
it's just
Sure.
not there. Like,
Sure.
did I ever believe that they were gonna perish in the rescue mission to get D-Bag McGee?
I did wonder about one character in today's episode, but I'll get to that when we talk through that one. I was a little nervous for their well-being, but nothing has happened yet. So maybe next episode.
Fuck it, kill Batcher off.
Poor girl. Um, so the person that Crosshair's talking about is Admiral Rampart. So if you recall, he's like the big baddie in season 1. I think he went into season 2 as well. He's the person who ordered the, firing upon Camino to destroy that facility. That bastard. And he's essentially a captive now under the Empire. But the problem is they don't have a ship. But sure enough, as luck has it, Fee shows up with her ship and says that she will help them. So they go to a planet called Erebus, I think it is, which is where he is kind of imprisoned. And he's on this like tank thing. Looks like the tanks that we've seen on like Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
But so he's on this tank thing, and there's other, prisoners on that tank, and the crew, the Bad Batch, essentially make their way onto this tank, kill all the stormtroopers and Empire or Imperials that are controlling it, and they release all the other prisoners, if I recall, but they hold on to Rampart, and they're like, "We
Well,
need
they
you."
did that to, cause a distraction.
Right. Because the Empire was knowing, or they knew something was going on, so they were coming after them. And you got like a tank on tank fight on like a bridge and everything. That was pretty cool. Um, Interesting strategy. I don't know why others didn't think of this earlier, but the Bad Batch took out the other tank's wheels to kind of destroy it. Everyone else is like shooting at the tanks, but they're all armored and everything. So the wheels seem like a definite weak spot. But to make a long story short, they capture him, and Fee flies in the last, moment, and they all get onto Fee's ship with Rampart, who they knocked out, and they get the heck out of there. So
I mean, technically, they uncapture him to
true.
then capture him.
Yeah, true. And I mean, they were holding it over his head in the today's episode about like, hey, they freed him. So they owe, or he owes the Bad Batch for freeing him. All they need to do is get, to Tantus, and then they can let Admiral Rampart go. And then at the end of the episode, we go back to Tantus, and Hemlock is essentially revealing the project that's being taken place on Tantus, what they're researching, Project Necromancer. And he's introducing Omega to it. He's like, we got you captured. Might as well tell you what's going on here. We already got your blood, so who
Oh, the
cares?
hubris.
Right. I know that exactly. And they bring her to the vault, which has the force sensitive kids. And that's kind of where the episode ends. And that was that. So, yeah, I think it was definitely a fetch quest. in my opinion. Probably, I thought it was probably the least entertaining out of all the ones I've seen so far. I mean, maybe not least entertaining because the whole fighting scene that was pretty cool, but just maybe the least important episode that we had seen to this point, in my eyes.
Yeah, I think you just, I mean, you could do the math, right? There's how there was four, there would be four episodes left after that, right? And so they're gonna move the needle, but not that much.
Right.
Yeah. So
It just didn't weigh too heavy in terms of the story.
yeah, it was fine. I mean,
It was enjoyable. I enjoyed it, but
yeah.
and with that, we'll go into episode 13, Into the Breach, and like kind of a similar feeling to me. I will say that I think there was a little more tension in this one, especially towards the end, but it was essentially just kind of a replica. We're bouncing back between Tantus and Omega's situation within the research facility, along with where the Bad Batch crew is and where they're at in terms of getting back or getting to Tantus to getting back with Omega. Um, so we open up to Tantus again with this episode, and Omega kind of wakes up in her cell, and I'm trying to recall how did they. This is where like the kids are kind of she's asking the kids like what's going on here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then one girl's telling her, "Oh, we're playing games. We're
Yeah,
playing
they want us to play
checkers."
these games and everything, and Omega's asking like, are they always watching? And they're like, yes, they're always watching, and the droids are always watching.
Apparently
It,
not.
right. It's just
She's like literally arranging like the battle plan, and no one's
no
paying
one's noticed.
attention. She literally draw like a diagram of the facility, and she's explaining it to the kids. I'm like, you literally said they're always watching.
Yep. Well, I think that one scientist lady was she was sensing something, which is
What a
why
bitch.
later in the episode she was snooping in on them. But
Oh yeah, Emery gave her the what for.
uh, that's hilarious. Um, so then
So
we
then they're
go.
planning the incursion. Where
Yep.
I guess douchebag McGee Zach, Admiral
Rampart, Admiral Rampart.
part, he's explaining to them like, well, I don't know where Tantus is, but I know how we can figure out where Tantus is,
Right.
which is another fetch quest. Yeah. And he
It
explains
definitely is fetch quest Inception.
it really is. It's so then he's like, well, there's this space station floating above Coruscant, and they send out science vessels, and we can get the coordinates from there, and
I
so
if I would not believe. I'm surprised like the Bad Batch went along with that. I would think that's totally fishy, in my
well,
opinion.
and then it turns out that there's a caveat, you know,
Yeah.
like they don't like send the coordinates, they direct beam them, so you have to literally be on the ship to get, which again, how smart are the bad guys and how dumb are the good guys?
Yeah. But I mean, I just had a hard time believing that the Bad Batch would believe that. Like, oh, let's just take them to the most, regulated system by the Empire, and, you know, we're gonna have this former Imperial, and all the Bad Batch guys did was like remove the red paint from
Yeah,
their.
that's not standard armor.
Yeah, it's not like they don't stand out like a sore thumb. And they aren't they like wanted? So the people have probably seen what they look like. So that was a little far fetched to me. Like, oh, we're just gonna remove like some of the painting on our um out our uniforms or our armor, and we'll be able to sneak by.
Dude, uh the one scene where Rampart's bitching about, like, they said something about like they give him a captain's uniform.
Yeah,
Like, well, I was an admiral.
I was
Like,
a
bitch, you were
vice
a
admiral.
prisoner, you dumbass. You were in a jumpsuit 10 seconds before this. Shut the
Right. Right. He's a bitch. It's a little bitch. Um, so as I alluded to, they go along with the
That little
plan.
bitch.
So they have,
You know what
they
that's from?
fly to this Coruscant station on a captured so I should say Tech arrives to meet them with this Imperial shuttle.
Not Tech, Echo.
Or sorry, that's what I meant. Echo. Echo arrives with the Imperial shuttle. And they're all going to go to this space station now around Coruscant to get these coordinates. So they do that.
You know what that
Uh,
space station looks a lot like? Did you
what?
watch the Halo series at all?
No,
It
no.
is garbage. It
I
is
have no
hot fucking
interest in it.
garbage. And juxtapose the Halo series to the Fallout series that just came out.
I do want to see the Fallout
It's
series.
excellent. It is so good, man. It is, and I had not played any Fallout games, so I went into it completely cold.
You would appreciate this. So I saw a picture on, I think it was on Facebook, and there's always that they have like that horse drawing picture where there's like parts where the
Yep,
horse
yep,
looks
yep, yep, yep.
amazing.
Yep. And
Well,
it was like I saw it. Maybe it's the exact one or something similar, but like you have the really beautiful drawing of the horse, and there's like something like a child would draw, and
yeah,
that was the Halo one.
yep,
And they had like Fallout, they had The Last of Us, they
yep,
had like,
yep, exactly.
yeah,
Everything, all the other like video game shows were awesome picture of the horse, but the Halo is like the elementary child's version of the tribe.
yeah, it's great. But I'm telling you, Fallout's amazing. It's really good. So I
Only one episode out right now, right?
no, they threw them all out.
Oh, they threw them all out. Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of it was actually unexpected. They didn't think that was going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, my brother had just watched the first episode and he texted me after and he's like, "Have you seen Fallout?" I'm like, "No, I haven't, but I do want to see it."
It's
And that's
excellent.
on Hulu?
It's on Prime.
Prime. Okay, Prime. I do
But
want to I did
anyway,
play Fallout, so.
uh, the Coruscant space station looks a lot like High Charity
Okay.
from Halo.
Okay. So they go to the space station and um did it, remind me. So did they docked into the station, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah. So
they had like chain code or not chain codes, like a
they
docking
had the
code or
code,
something.
yeah, the docking code to get in.
Yeah.
So got through no problem, and then of course the guy asked for their chain codes,
Yeah.
or
And that
actually,
guy was suspicious of the situation.
yeah, and then Rampart, basically pulled rank on him.
Yep. Yep. So then Wrecker stays with the ship to, have it ready for when they need to leave. The rest of the crew go to, obtain the next coordinates that they need. So, and that's where Echo comes in. He kind of, he has his droid arm or whatnot and that he uses to get the information that they need. And while they're doing that, that Imperial that met them when they landed came back and he was like, there is a problem with the, you know, location of origin from this ship that's not aligning. Can you explain that to me? So then Wrecker's like, yeah, come with me. And he knocks him out essentially. And then,
I do love how he knows something's up, but he doesn't report it
right,
to anybody.
right,
He just, hey, I'm the only one that with knowledge of this information. I'm gonna go walk to the ship by myself.
right,
Go wrong.
right.
And now before that too, they ran into the two soldiers.
Oh, yeah. The
They're like,
stormtroopers.
we just started our shifts. What do you
Yeah.
mean? You could go back to what?
Um,
And then the other guy asked for like their key card, and then they knock him out.
right.
The one with the one hat.
Yep. From the Death Star, like
Yeah.
shooting the
You
the primary weapon. Um,
I've asked for railing here.
they said we would lean.
Yeah.
Oh, good old Family Guy. But after Wrecker knocks that guy out, he calls into them like, "You better hurry because there's going to be someone checking in on him, after this." So the rest of the crew, they obtain what they need and they get back to the ship. And well, no, I take that back because Tech, or not Tech, Echo stays
God damn it,
back.
it's dead.
I know. Tech, Echo, I get them crosshaired up.
Or Tech is the one
The shadow trooper
clone.
guy
Yeah.
or shadow clone. Uh, but Echo stays back because they need him to get on the ship so that he can take down the security
Proximity
sensors,
alarm.
proximity alarm,
So they
exactly,
could dock underneath.
so they can dock underneath. That's when I got worried for Echo. I'm like, ugh,
I was never once ever worried about Echo.
really?
Not
Well, we don't ever hear about Echo afterwards, so he could be SOL at some point.
yeah, maybe. But not this episode. But the one thing that bothered me was like because Rampart's bitching. Oh, I didn't sign up for this. Dude, we just broke you out of prison. And they keep on telling him, like, we'll send you back.
Right. Right.
They totally should. But anyway, so he's bitching about not signing up for this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we need to abort the mission. The proximity alarms aren't off yet. And so Hunter, Jesus like, fuck it. And then he like books it. Well, you think at that point the proximity alarm for the thing would go off. It's just convenient that how that timing works.
Right.
Again, just I get it's a cartoon or an animated series and whatever. But like, it's just too convenient.
So do those proximity alarms only go off if something touches the ship? Like,
I mean, that would seem silly to me.
I know you would think if anything was within a certain range, it would detect them. So
Yeah, I mean, they're fucking going light speed, right? Like, you can't create a proximity alarm that detects something a little farther away.
right.
They're shooting goddamn laser beams.
Lasers. Um, I should mention through like while all this has happened, we do cut back to Omega's situation
Yeah, of course she's crafting a plan.
on Tantus, which she reveals to the kids like
That Omega, very crafty,
very,
plan,
very
got a great
smart.
plan.
I would support her. She informs the kids that, or the kids say like, there's no way of breaking out of here, that it's impossible. And Omega reveals to them, well, it's not impossible. I've broken out of here. And they're like, oh, how'd you do that? And then she's like explaining to them that she has a plan on how to escape. There's those chutes or whatever that the blood veils get entered or
The panels that just come right off.
yeah.
Who's
And
designing these things?
yeah. And in one of the visits where Emery is taking blood, she steals a little instrument picker tool that she's going to use to pry open the panels to see where those lead
I just have
to.
to stab somebody.
I was wondering if Emery knew she took something and just let it slide, or if she didn't realize it. Part of me thinks that she knew and she let it be.
Again, I mean, this would be my shocked face if she, has a change of heart.
Right.
I think that's exactly where it's going.
Yep. I agree. So yeah, she reveals that she has a plan. And then back with the crew, that like Dustin said, they are able to attach right as the alarms are turned off, right as the ship is about to enter hyperspeed. And as soon as they clamp on and the ship jumps, then it break to end the episode. So yeah. So we've got our fetch quests probably out of the way now, because obviously the ship is going to Tantus, so everything's merging back together again.
Yep. So hopefully we start to see some action. I think this next episode is going to be more about like them infiltrating the base and not necessarily like too much action happening. Right?
Yeah.
Or they get there and they're formulating a plan.
Right. And I think either in the next episode or the episode after, the plan's not going to go as expected, and it's going to fail. Fail at least for some of them.
Yeah, and then they'll go on another fetch quest.
And well, I don't know if they'll go on another fetch quest,
No,
but
that was a joke.
okay. I think the last episode is
They'll
going
send
to,
Batcher on a fetch quest.
because one of the, I mean, it's probably going to be
No,
the second to
nothing.
last episode.
It's in
What's that?
there.
No,
Yeah.
I got it. I got it. I see
Okay.
what you did there.
Thank
But
you.
Lincoln heard, or he heard. That's why he's getting up. Um, they're gonna have to explain more with this Project Necromancer to tie it in probably to the sequel or to sequel trilogy or to the Mandalorian show and everything. There's going to be some more important reveal information from Tantus, I feel like, but I also think that their plan will probably fail one way or another. So I'm curious to see how it turns out. Like I said from the beginning, I feel like the Bad Batch are just they're destined to, not make it. They're destined to fail at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so they'll fail ultimately. I think they will sabotage things because
Sure. Yeah.
that's obviously in Rise of Skywalker, the clones aren't super great, right? Like, the Sidious needs
Right.
to become fully powerful again.
Right. Well, we know about Snoke, so it is also successful in a certain way because we've seen test Snokes as well, and those Bacta tank looking things, but we also have a successful Snoke who's very powerful as well. So, um, there's
I
some
hope we get
success.
an episode soon where they really explain that.
Yeah, I agree. What if that's in the Bad Batch? Who knows? Maybe that's more the movie that the Mandalorian is getting into and all of that. But
I
something's
don't know.
got
I
to
feel, I
lead
feel
us
like
to.
the Mandalorian missed their window for that.
You think so?
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
they were still testing it. Because that's why, um, uh, what's his name, Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon was testing with it and made clones of himself.
yeah. Well,
So
we'll see. I hope they at least reveal what room that they sent had the Emperor go into,
I
which
want
is
to learn.
probably where all his little clones are.
I want to learn more about, speaking of the Emperor, all those freaking dudes that were in Rise of Skywalker, like in the crowd. You know what I'm talking about? Where the Emperor was?
I don't think we'll ever. I don't think we'll ever learn
Like
that.
what was that? Was that like a cult, or were those like Sith, or what the heck who were those people? I don't know.
I don't think I've spent a waking moment even thinking about that.
They went down pretty easily when the whole area was collapsing. But so yeah, as mentioned, we have 3 more episodes left, 2 more days of episode releases. So we'll get one a week from today on Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday we'll get the final 2 episodes. And I think the last 2 might be longer episodes as usual. And I kind of uh, provide a little more time for those last episodes. And then that's done. That's it for the Bad Batch until a new animated series comes out, which they'll do something. I've heard some rumors about some
Shadows of the
potential.
Empire.
That would be pretty cool.
I'd
Uh,
rather that be live action though. Not
yeah, that'd be cool.
so. I actually haven't seen it. Because I'm just not really that excited. But they released a new trailer of, and maybe you did breakdown of Outlaws.
Yep, I did that.
So I haven't seen it though.
Oh, you haven't seen the trailer yet?
No, I
It's
don't.
it's the
It doesn't.
story trailer.
It's just, man, it's just not doing anything for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like a Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order. It's not going to see the success those saw. I don't think it'll be a fun game. I'm sure it'll be fun to play, but it's it's kind of it's going into the underworld or underground, the crime syndicates, it sounds like. So,
Yeah.
and you get some interesting, some cool cameos in the trailer. So some people you're familiar with that, or creatures that you know,
Rock monsters?
I didn't see those.
Damn it.
But it takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So think of some of
I mean, that's
the
probably a pretty dark time, right? Like,
hmm.
so
Well, if you think of this, if you think of the crime syndicates and who some of the main crime contributors are and the leaders, you'll see cameos of them.
well,
Some of them.
I know Kira's in there.
Yeah, I think there's I think that's Kira. We're not sure, but Crimson Dawn is definitely called out in the trailer,
I'm
and
pretty
that
sure
one
that's
person looks
Kira.
like Kira.
I've seen enough like online enhancement videos that's pretty much Kira.
Yeah. And who's the guy that Dash Rendar looks like?
What?
Who's the guy that Dash Rendar people say looks like or reminds them of? One of the original three main characters.
Han Solo?
Yep. You get to see him in Carbonite.
Oh yeah, hey.
So if you see him in Carbonite, who else do you think we see?
Oh, well, Boba Fett.
No. Who owns that Carbonite? Where is the Carbonite?
Misa Jabba the Hutt.
There you go. So you get to see Jabba the Hutt. So these are some of the locations, obviously, that you'll be playing in for the game. So some Tatooine there. Everything always comes back to Tatooine with Star Wars, it
It
seems
really
like.
does, doesn't it?
It's all about the sand and the dirt. I hate sand. It's so coarse and it gets everywhere. Um, but yeah, I think that's what we got for today. Unless there's anything else that you want to talk about.
No, I think we nailed it, and I'm kind of running on empty.
Running on empty. Hey, are you gonna do the 5K with Colleen and I?
Yeah, I gotta sign up for that. I
Okay.
did a 5K today. I ran.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Well done.
I do about 2 or 3 5Ks a week.
Wow. Like just running on your own.
Yeah, 3.1
Nice.
miles. That's my goal.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know. We're probably not going to be actually running this. It's because you can do like costumes and everything. So
Well, I gotta do my Imperial Officer Lieutenant Dangle.
there you go.
Do you
Better
do you
do it.
have an Imperial Officer shirt at all?
No,
I'll have to.
probably not hard to find.
Yeah.
Get the shirt and the hat. You probably already have pants that you could use, and just get like a little, you know, Imperial, I don't know, rank patch or whatever.
Hmm.
So there you go. That'd be cool.
When is May the 4th?
Is it Saturday? May the 4th. Yep, Saturday.
Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
And they're also releasing all of the Tales of the Empire episodes on May the 4th.
Nice.
And that looks free. Did you see the trailer for that?
No.
Oh,
I have had a lot going on if you think about it.
yeah. But when we're done here, take the like 3.5 minutes it takes to watch. That looks really good. I'm excited for that show. It's only going to be like 6 episodes. So remember how good Tales of the Jedi were with Count Dooku and everything?
Yeah, yeah.
This looks like it's going to be pretty good too.
Cool.
So check that out. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. I'll speak to our social media handles really quick. So you can find us on Twitter at DetBlockAA23pod, on Instagram at detention_block_AA_23, our Facebook group and YouTube channels, Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. And you can find us on TikTok at DetBlockAA23. Bring us your follows, likes, subscriptions, downloads, reviews, everything. We greatly appreciate any little thing you can do because it definitely helps us out. Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we look forward to some more Bad Batch coming up in a week. So till then, we'll catch you later. And as always, may the force be with you.
And also with the Battlehawks.
How have they done so far?
They're 2-1, man.
There you go.
Ooh, showing some leg.
What are you doing? What are you doing with Dash Rendar over there? Stop it. Put some pants on.